I knew very young that I could write music that sounds, music that is close to people, that they can remember some of it. I knew that I could do that. I also knew that I couldn't go much bigger because I didn't have the time or the good fortune to have studied orchestration, because that's what you need if you want to write more big music. So I was restricted, believe me, to the guitar. The music that you can write to the guitar, and it had to be tonal. That was me. Maybe you can call it neo-romantic or romantic, whatever. And there came a moment for me, there had to be a cycle. Learning, teaching, and then writing to complete the cycle of music. I have been self-taught most of the way, so I had to teach myself also how to write. And I didn't have the time until I was in my 60s, and then I wrote. First, some simple things just to get into it. But something really important is things that came back to me from Germany, funnily enough, to a place where we used to go just after the war, Oberkassel, near Bonn, opposite Bonn, where there is the Drachenfels, the Dragon Rock. I believe that Beethoven used to walk around there, not that I knew that at that time. But that came back to me. Funnily enough, also the feeling that we had in those days, which is important. I must say we were very, very rebellious. It's like somebody had taken the lid off and we were blowing out. And even that little bit of authority that was around at that time didn't come near us and left us alone. And there I wrote, from that, when I wrote the 5 bagatelles. You can play each one a single piece, but it sounds very good if you play them one after the other. It's not too difficult. I never wrote any music difficult on purpose. Why break your fingers? Anyway, if you want to make music. And there you have that. The beginning, the Anfang, as we arrived there, and we then could see that little lake, blue little lake, running and jumping down towards it. And then afterwards meeting people we had met there before. Some of them that had suffered very much because they were in the resistance. What I'm talking about is now 1947, 46, when we still had military government that didn't interfere much with what we were doing. Anyway, there we were jumping around, greeting each other, happy to be there. And then as people calmed down, we always had guitars. I never had to take my own guitar. People always gave me a guitar. Anyway, and then we talked, and people automatically talked about the hardships, the disasters that they had been involved in the tragedy of war, the tragedy of living in a restricting government. Anyway, that's the second movement. And the third movement is this sometimes talk turned into anger. And the third piece is, if you listen to it carefully, you're going to hear anger in it. And the fourth piece maybe gives the right impression of resignation, of saying, well, that's life, that's the way it is, what can you do? And the last movement is like saying, to hell with it all, we're living anyway, here we go. That's the 5 bagatelles. It came back to me one time.